Hello, and welcome to Lessons Online. We are in the middle of our study of 12 Rules for Life by Jordan Peterson. This is lesson number 19, and we are in the 6th lesson of rule number 4. And today we begin a new section entitled The Point of Our Eyes, or Take Stock. Now, let me begin by telling you that the point of our eyes is a pun. A pun is a kind of joke, that's P-U-N, a kind of joke that rests upon the similarity between two words. Not exactly that. If one word can be used in two ways at the same moment, that is a pun. So, when you say the point of something, it means the essential meaning or the significance. So, I can't think of an example right now, but maybe I will later. Also, point means direction. So, this section talks about the significance of our eyes and what we look at, and also it talks about the direction that we are looking. So it is a pun. So the larger meaning of the point of our eyes is within our conversation. What is the point of eyes? What is the significance? And he is also going to talk about what we look at. So there is a dual meaning, and he is using a pun. And take stock means to assess something, to look and see what is there. Take stock. There is a lot in this title, and maybe at the end of this section we will come back and talk about why he named it this and how this title sums up the section. Maybe we'll do that. Let's read. Let's read. Our eyes are always pointing at things we are interested in approaching, or investigating, or looking for, or having. We must see, but to see we must aim. So we are always aiming. Our minds are built on the hunting and gathering platforms of our bodies. To hunt is to specify a target, track it, and throw at it. To gather is to specify and to grasp. We fling stones and spears and boomerangs. We toss balls through hoops and hit pucks into nets and curl carved granite rocks down the ice onto horizontal bullseyes. We launch projectiles at targets with bows, guns, rifles, and rockets. We hurl insults, launch plans, and pitch ideas. We succeed when we score a goal or hit a target. We fail or sin when we do not, as the word sin means to miss the mark. We cannot navigate without something to aim at, and while we are in this world, we must always navigate. This is a great paragraph for vocabulary. This paragraph gives you lots of specific verbs that we use in very specific ways. Let's go back to the beginning and see what we can see. Our eyes are always pointing at things we are interested in approaching. Now, I want to point out that in reading this, there were several places that I could have stopped. And if I had stopped, I would have gotten the wrong meaning. This sentence contains what we call landmines or traps for an ESL, English as a Second Language student, reading it to fall into. I'm going to show you some easy mistakes to make. Okay? I'm going to just use a very light color. Maybe we'll use this color. So when I was reading, I was tempted, hold on. I was tempted to stop first here. Our eyes are always pointing at things. If I had stopped here, the sentence would be, our eyes are always pointing at things, at something. That is a perfectly good sentence. And if you read it that way and get that idea, you will not have the sentence correctly. You must go on. Our eyes are always pointing at things we are interested in. Okay, that's a slightly different meaning. It's not saying our eyes are pointed on things. It is saying our eyes are pointed on things we are interested in. So the emphasis would be our interest if we stopped there. But again, we would be wrong. We must go all the way on to here. Let's go to here. Our eyes are always pointed at things we are interested in approaching. This is different. Things which we want to approach. So, if I want to walk toward that door, there's a door right there, my eyes will point at the door because I want to walk toward the door. I want to approach the door. So you see how the sentence, our eyes are always pointing at things we are interested in approaching, is completely different from our eyes are always pointing at things. Now, we actually don't even stop there. We must move on. We have the words or investigating, or looking for, or having. Now, here, what we must understand is that these four things are all interchangeable in this sentence, adding a different meaning each time. So, this sentence means our eyes are always pointing at things we are interested in, things we are interested in investigating, things we are interested in looking for, things we're interested in having. It means all four of them at the same time. So, we could look at it this way. Our eyes are always pointing at things we are interested in approaching, investigating, looking for, or having. So when you read, you have to get all the way to the period, and you have to pay attention to punctuation. Punctuation helps you to know how words are put together. Our eyes are always pointing at things that we are interested in approaching or investigating. Investigating means learning something about, looking closely at so you will understand it. Or looking for, meaning something I am searching for. I cannot find it. I want to go out and I need my car keys. I am searching for my car keys. So I am looking for them. Or interested in having. So men will look for a long time at a sports car because they want to have it. Or maybe they will look for a long time at a beautiful woman because they wish they could have it. This is why in commercials they put sports cars and beautiful girls in the commercial for almost anything, so that the men will look at the commercial and not go and get a beer during the commercial. At least that's how it used to be when people watched commercial TV. Okay, let's move on. We must see, but to see we must aim. So we are always aiming. To me, this is clear. We need to see things in order to approach them, investigate them, look for them, or have them. But in order to see them, we must aim. Aim our eyes. Because we cannot look clearly at something our eyes are not focused on. Our eyes focus on a point, and everything else is blurry. So we are always aiming, meaning aiming our eyes. Aim. Our minds are built on the hunt and gathering platforms of our bodies. I believe platform comes from the computer idea of a platform. And Jordan Peterson believes in an evolutionary process that goes way, way, way back before we were even human. And any animal that has to hunt, which in his mind is our predecessor, would have the similar biology to bring us through to today, where we must be able to see in order to hunt and gather. So his idea is evolution. To hunt is to specify a target, track it, and throw at it, Once again, we have a situation with multiple second halves to the sentence, which each one is different, and each one shares the first half of the sentence. To hunt is to. And then you have several things that are the definition. It is to specify a target, track it. Always look for the reference of it. In this case, it is the target. Specify the target. And throw at it. So we're not throwing the target. We are throwing at the target. Maybe a spear or a rock. So all of this is the definition of to hunt. To gather is to specify and to grasp. Okay, specify and grasp. Grasp means this. We fling stones and spears and boomerangs. Again, we have to look at our punctuation. We have three things we're flinging. Fling means to throw. It's another word for throwing. We fling stones and spears and boomerangs. We toss balls through hoops. So toss is more like this. Toss is a gentle throw. You toss things to your small child, or you toss something to your partner in the office. He needs a pencil. You toss it to him. The idea is for him to easily catch it. Toss. Here he has balls through hoops, so that implies basketball. We hit pucks into nets, so that would be hockey. And curl carved granite rocks down the ice onto horizontal, bullseyes. So curl, I'm not really sure. I think it means to throw like this, like shot put. But this example here strikes me again. Well, I'm not sure. These are all sports metaphors showing what we do with our eyes and our bodies. We launch projectiles. So launch usually requires machinery. So you put your rocket here and you set fire to the fuse and pow, it shoots. That's launching. Projectiles are like if you fire a cannon, the cannonball is a projectile. If you fire a gun, the bullet is a projectile. So we launch projectiles at targets with bows, guns, rifles, and rockets. I think his point is, by multiplying the many, many examples, I think he is making the point that it is in our nature to use our eyes to find a target and then to try to hit that target in a variety of ways. Probably he is going to make an analogy with hitting a target and achieving a goal. I think he is going to do that. We hurl insults. Hurl is throwing with great passion. Insults are, you stupid fool. An insult is verbal. We launch plans, same as this launch. But now again, we have a verbal. My plan is this. We're starting with the plan tomorrow. Tomorrow we launch the new plan. And pitch ideas. Now, pitch is offering something up. Even in baseball, a pitch is meant to be hit. You are offering something to someone to respond to. And in the case of ideas, you pitch an idea to see if your partners will agree or say no. So to pitch an idea is something that happens in business very often. But you can pitch an idea to your spouse, your wife or husband, but you usually don't use the word pitch when it's personal. Usually pitch is for business, for ideas. We succeed when we score a goal or hit a target. So we're back to our sports, saying we're a success if we have hit. We fail or sin when we do not. Now, notice, here's our period. Do not is the end of the sentence. You must think, do not what? It refers back to this. We succeed when we score a goal. We fail when we do not score the goal. We succeed when we hit a target. We fail when we do not hit the target. It is important for you to stop and identify the reference whenever there is an ambiguous reference. So whenever it says it, whenever it leaves out something, when I am in person, in classes with advanced students, I always stop and ask what the reference is. So I would say, do not what? And fully half the time, even an advanced student will get it wrong. For instance, they might say, do not see. Or we fail when we do not aim. They'll just remember something from the general context, but they will not zero in grammatically on what the immediate reference is. So in this case, we succeed when we score a goal. We fail when we do not score a goal. We succeed when we hit a target. We fail when we do not hit a target. And this is what we call an aside. Aside. This is a little extra something. This also is an aside. It is a little extra something. Sin. The word sin means to miss the mark. So what he is doing here is he is bringing in his analogy. He is setting up his analogy. Previously, he is speaking of concrete matters having to do with vision and aim and sports and getting points by hitting the mark. All this is concrete and literal. But the 12 rules of life are not about sports. They're about success in general. So he is setting up his analogy with goal setting and achieving goals, I think. It's been a while since I've read this paragraph, but I think that's where he's going with it. And sin, by the way, is an unusual word outside of religious literature. When you speak of sin to intellectuals outside of a religious context, they become nervous and uncomfortable, almost the way ladies would become uncomfortable speaking of matters sexual in the past. So, bringing in the word sin, didn't mean to do that. Bringing in the word sin here is sort of daring. It gets a reaction from the English-speaking reader. They're like, sin? Is this a Christian book? In America, we sell Christian books in special Christian bookstores that nobody goes into except Christians. And not just cultural Christians. It's the serious religious Christians who go into Christian bookstores. However, the 12 Rules for Living is not a Christian book. You would very rarely see this word, sin, in a normal book for intellectuals. So people go like, oh, sin? That means you believe in God and you believe in rules of right and wrong that are absolute and judgmental. And we all know that we don't have to listen to those words, so sin doesn't exist. So this word is got a lot of baggage, and I'm sure he uses it intentionally for some reason. I'm not sure why, but I'm just letting you know the impact, the nonverbal impact of this language to a native speaker. Okay, so let's read the whole bit from here. We succeed when we score a goal or hit a target. We fail or sin when we do not, as the word sin means to miss the mark. By the way, here this word as the word sin means since the word sin, or because the word sin means. In fact, the word sin derives from I believe it is a Greek word meaning to miss when you are shooting at something, to miss the bullseye, to miss the mark.